Does this sound familiar? You're pretty good on your instrument, you're good enough to get by. You come up with song ideas, you can write songs, but when it comes to finishing them, finishing the lyrics, getting them recorded, something gets in the way. It seems really, really hard to finish. For a lot of us, we chalk it up to things like, I don't have enough time, I'm not good enough yet, I lack discipline or follow through, I'm too much of a perfectionist. I've been through a lot of those things. I have been a perfectionist, and I still am sometimes if I'm not careful. I've also questioned, like, am I good enough to do this? And that stops me in my tracks. But if we're being really honest with ourselves, that's not what's the problem here. Because most people can find an hour or two a week for something that they really care about. There's probably been songs that you have finished. You have done it before. You just set the bar way lower, so the pressure wasn't on you, and you managed to finish. And we all know that perfect is just an idea. There's no such thing as perfect, and that hasn't stopped you before, I'm willing to bet. So what is it? You've got all the pieces, but there's still something in your way. The truth is, it's not because you don't have enough skill or time or lack discipline. By the way, if we haven't met already, I'm Dave. I'm a songwriter, I'm a music producer, and I have struggled with finishing stuff for a long, long time. And I have been slowly recreating myself as an artist, changing how I work, changing how I operate, and beginning to find more momentum in my artist life. The deeper truth is, finishing isn't hard because you don't know how. It's hard because it requires you to be a different version of yourself. A version of yourself that is okay with letting that artwork exist and speak for itself. It requires you to put yourself out there. And for a lot of us, that threatens our sense of who we are, our sense of safety. We all have things that we do that keep us from finishing. Under the surface, it's our beliefs about what finishing means. And ultimately, we don't finish because it's safer, it's more comfortable to remain as we are with the current identity that we have, and we avoid stepping into a different version of ourselves, the version of ourselves that does play the song all the way through, or does the work to finish that lyric and really say what's in their heart, or does go out and perform. These things are all uncomfortable for us because it requires us to operate from a different version of ourselves, one that we're not really used to. We don't really know what's going to happen. We're afraid of risking that. We'd rather just kind of stay comfortable, although it's still not comfortable because we hate it, it bothers us, but it's easy and it's baked in. Our current belief systems are keeping us taking the same actions and running into the same walls. So I want to turn this on to you now, and I want to ask, where do you find yourself getting stuck? And when you get stuck, what is the belief you're telling yourself? What are you saying to yourself when you stop? You may not even know. It may be something you just sort of ignore. But I challenge you to ask yourself, what is the thing that I am believing about this step in the process? What does it mean if I finish this thing? You know, if I finish the song and put it out on Spotify or whatever, well, that means that I might be risking criticism, risking being confronted with a reality that I'm afraid of experiencing. Maybe people think I'm not good enough. Maybe they judge my music. They judge me. Maybe I'm not comfortable with that. And then to take it a step further, how is this belief keeping you safe? What am I protecting myself from? Okay, so now I want you to imagine, what would the version of you look like who goes one step past where you usually stop? If it's finishing your lyric, what does that person who finishes the lyric do? How do they feel? What do they look like? If it's setting up the microphone to record yourself, maybe that's the next step in your process. What does that look like? If it's finding bandmates to play with or finding people in town to jam with, well, what does that look like? What does that feel like? What we're doing here is imagining what the next step in the process looks like, and more importantly, we are trying to feel what that looks like. Something that I'm really big on is visualization and breathing, slowing down the nervous system. So there's an exercise that I really like. It's very simple. It's breathe in for 4, hold at the top for about 2 beats, and then exhale for 6. Do this for about a minute. You'll start to feel yourself calming down, maybe being a little more present. We're calming the nervous system here because to connect to positive emotions, it's really hard to do if you're in a place of anxiety or stress. So for about a minute, we're just going to breathe. And then when you're ready, take that version of you that you were imagining. And I want you to see yourself doing that. But more than that, feel in your body what those actions would feel like. What would it feel like to write the truth of that lyric? What would it feel like to record that guitar? What would it feel like to book that gig and stand on that stage? Take a minute to feel that in your body. And do it for as long as it feels comfortable. Doesn't have to be anything crazy. This takes 3 minutes. I love to do this. For me, it helps to ground me. And I love to connect to future versions of myself that maybe I'm not currently embodying, but that I'd like to experience in my life. So wherever you're at currently, it's not a life sentence. And in my last video, I think I talked about this, how identity is always changing. Who you were 10 years ago is not who you are today, and who you're going to be next year or 5 years, 10 years in the future is going to be totally different. Okay? So what we're trying to do is we're trying to consciously evolve ourselves, our identities, by connecting to a future version of ourselves, the one who is finishing and the one who's taking that next step. So no need to rush the process. It's enough to just be aware of where you're stopping. Realize that your beliefs are trying to keep you safe. Your identity is connected to those old beliefs. And what we're trying to do is expand our vision of who we are and connect to a version of ourselves where we are taking that next step. We are moving forward because it's in us to do this. And we want to get out of our own way. And hopefully what I've said in this video is helping you to see how you might be able to shift forward and start making real progress in your art and in your music. So let me know in the comments if you can relate to this. Let me know where you end up getting stuck. And let me know maybe what the next step would look like. What could you do? Who would you have to be to move to the next step? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.